Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar. Today this topic is on how PhishTitan enhances Microsoft 365 Threat Coach and Auto-Remediation. Thank you all so much for joining today. We're delighted to bring you this webinar. So we originally launched PhishTitan in January of this year and the feedback from our customer base has been amazing, and the team have worked so hard in the meantime to improve this product over the last 9 months. So I'm delighted to be joined here today with Conor Hynes, Director of Product Management and Data Strategy. Conor has been instrumental, to say the least, in the production of PhishTitan, so it's great to have him here today. Conor, welcome.
Hey, Treva. Thanks, William. Yeah, looking forward to having a good discussion.
Yeah, it should be good. Just before we get started, just some housekeeping for everyone. The webinar is being recorded and will be sent out afterwards, so feel free to share it with your team. There will be time allocated for Q&A at the end, so any questions for Conor, you can fire them into the chat and we will get to them. Any that we don't manage to get to, we'll contact you directly with the answers. And we'll be doing a survey at the end, so if you don't mind just taking a minute to answer, to get some feedback and to see if you're interested in learning more about PhishTitan, please let us know. So for those who aren't too familiar with us, so TitanHQ is a best-in-class cybersecurity company based in Galway, Ireland. We've been in business since 1999, and we offer different layers of cybersecurity solutions to MSPs and Enterprises. So you can see here we've got a range of solutions, and today we're going to deep dive into PhishTitan. So Conor, I'll hand it over to you let's get into it.
Yeah, sounds good, Treva. I'm just going to take control, so Treva, just let me know when the screen is updated.
Absolutely. No, that's over to you now, Conor.
Perfect. Good to go, Treva?
Yep, it looks good. Just the one domain there. Super.
Okay, so look, just to kick off, as Treva said, we launched PhishTitan January of this year. We've put a huge amount of effort over the last couple of months, listening to, I guess, customer feedback, particularly MSPs and administrators, to understand, how we can make the product better. And obviously, one of the key visions for the product function too, as well, is to develop a platform, not just a single solution. And I'm going to speak about that today as well. So primarily talking about PhishTitan, but also just talking about the future of the platform and what that entails. So this is just a quick snapshot of what the dashboard of the platform looks like. I'm going to come back to this in a few minutes, but I just wanted to give you guys the overall impression of, this is a single unified platform with multiple solutions. With PhishTitan, we also have phishing simulation, SAT, and we also have an email archiving solution. So just want to give you a snapshot of this for now, just to set the scene of where we're going as a product and as a company, as a product function. And yes, look, I'm going to deep dive really into PhishTitan. For those of you, some of you have seen PhishTitan, some of you haven't. So I'm just going to do a particular deep dive at an MSP level to begin with. So what you can see here is, I guess, it's your customer view. We want to have a single unified view for an MSP or an administrator to understand, what other customers are doing, how active they are, when they were created, and what solutions they have. So, on the right-hand side here, you can see that, for each customer, you have a particular solution. You have email security, which is PhishTitan, you have phishing simulation, you have SAT, and you have archiving. So all in the single area. You can also see the M365 connection status, and this is really important. As an IT admin, I guess you guys want to understand, are my customers connected? Are they receiving mail? Is everything up and running and they're connected? It's almost like a health indicator. These guys are connected, they're working, everything is working as planned. So that's your single snapshot from a customer perspective. For this demo account here, we kept it relatively small. We have 6 customers, as you can see. 3 customers are connected, 3 aren't, just to give the overall impression of the different statuses that you might see, as part of your single dashboard. Then just, I guess, jumping straight into the products, I guess, are the solutions. This is your PhishTitan overview page. And again, we've tried to bring as much information to the fore, because I guess we really are conscious of, the time it takes to administer multiple solutions too as well. So we try to make things as simple as possible, bringing real information to the fore. So you can see how many emails have been analyzed over a 37-day period. You can see how many incidents are happening right now. your active user count and your license usage, which I will come to as well in a few minutes in the top right hand corner. And again, you can see your customers too as well, because your customers change beneath the different solutions that you may have to as well. So it's really important that not only do you see your customers at a platform level, but you also see them at a solution level too as well, because you may have 6 customers, but you may only give email security to 3 of them. So you just want to see those 3 at this level. I guess the meat of where PhishTitan lies, and I guess the value of PhishTitan, is in the efficacy and the incidents. So your incident area is basically where, I guess, this is the heartbeat of the solution. This is where you see the different incidents that are happening, or the emails that have already been detected, I guess, by PhishTitan. So I'll go to this view first, which is your resolve tab, which is all of the live emails that have come in over the last couple of days that the product has detected. So I can see when they were sent, the subject line, the sender, the flag reasons, basically why it was detected, various statuses too as well that you might have. So you might reply manual remediation. You could have auto-remediation also turned on to as well, which I'll come to. And then the green tags are basically when an administrator makes an action, whether that's to mark it as safe or send it to junk, the status will update too as well. So one of the key things that we've done over the last couple of months is this page, as I said, is the heartbeat of the product. So we've tried to make it as intuitive and as user-friendly as possible. So there is no drilling down into emails. With a single click of a button, I get a slide out, which gives me various different details of a particular email. So this is an email here that has been, has our marked as safe banner, which basically means the administrator thinks it's a clean email, no problem with that, it's safe. I can see here that this is a malicious one. So basically I can see here this is actually a malicious email with a malicious link embedded into the context of the email. I see the various different reasons here. I see spoofed email as well. And as you can see, when I flick through the different malicious emails, you can see that we have dynamics. Banners aren't static. They change based on the different types of detection that we've got. So this is a display name spoofing. The next one might be, this is a spam one. So your spam, malware, phishing is being detected. So the rationale, I guess, behind the dynamic banners is we don't want PhishTitan to just be a tool that protects. We need it to educate too as well. And I think by providing some context within the banners, your ultimately your end users they're getting protected and they're getting warnings, but they're also getting educated on what to look out for. So a spoofed email display banner here is very, very clear. Display name spoofing has been detected. Your next logical flow is to go, okay, can I see the email, right? Can I see who it was sent to, who it was from? I can see it says here it's from phishtitan@gmail.com. Again, if I'm an IT administrator, I can come into received header section here, and I can see it's been spoofed here. It's been spoofed, it's Deirdre. It's not actually a phishtitan@gmail.com. So again, various elements of detection, and this is the heartbeat of the product, and we are really, really proud of our efficacy rates. Since January, our false positive and false negative rate has been exceptional. And we've seen that we've done numerous third-party studies, and they have looked at our detection rates, and we are industry standard right now, industry leading at the minute. So very, very happy with how that's going. One, I guess, really clever feature that has been released in recent months, has been Threat Coach. So one of the emails that I spoke about earlier, which is it has an embedded link in between the two as well. We'd like to provide some more context for the IT administrator. So we can run Threat Coach, which is using our own AI, our own LLM. And what that does is it provides some, context and highlights the reason and rationale behind the email. So if I make this a bit bigger here, I can see we've now started to highlight elements of what a malicious email might look like. So you can see here, this is a possibly social engineering attempt, and also another URL. So I can see it has a generic reading. It has urgency, which is one of the main drivers for a phishing email is urgency. So we're providing more context around what are the really bad characteristics to look like within an email. I also have an indicator guide here as well, which is it highlights and it's color coded, so I can look back here. I can see generic reading is blue, matches up here. I can see just urgency or threatening language in yellow. It highlights where within the email I have urgency and threatening language. So again, just trying to give the IT administrator as much tools and as much information as possible to make their life as easy as possible. Another area to choose here, I can see affected users. So basically, I can see how many recipients of this email were. In this case, it's just one. But if I was to action this email, I only need to action it once, and it affects all recipients. So basically, if I want to remediate this email with one action here, it will get removed from a user's inbox. If I wanted to mark it as safe or allow, I don't have to do this multiple times from multiple recipients. With the single click of a button, it automatically gets remediated. So at that point, I might just do a segue onto remediation, because I guess it's probably one of the main features or functionality within the product. So you have two options when it comes to remediation. You have manual and you have auto. What manual means is basically, as you saw, you see the banners within the email. So we provide dynamic banners based on various different detection elements. And as I said, they protect and they educate, but the email stays in the user's inbox. Then you have auto remediation, which basically means if you switch on auto remediation, once we detect that an email is, spam, phishing, social engineering attempt, we automatically remove it from the inbox. So it gets removed into a junk folder automatically. Our recommended, let's say, here would be that you turn on auto remediation after maybe a 14 or 21 day period, because it is an API driven solution. It is constantly learning. We recommend you leave manual remediation on for maybe a 2 or 3 week period. You understand how the system embeds. You may need to add certain allow sender addresses to an allow list. Once you're happy in that the product is up and running and efficient, we recommend you turn on auto remediation, and then it's almost a set and forget at that stage. The only time then an incident will occur or be brought to your attention is when a user reports it via our own proprietary Outlook add-in too as well, which is part of the product. So that's auto remediation, very, very popular feature. As I said, I would say up to 60–70% of our customers right now are using auto remediation. Those that aren't love the educational element of the banners, and we're really beginning to see a rise in that also. And that there is a realization, if you never see a phishing email, it's very hard to spot one when it comes. So you're almost better educating and showing what characteristics to look like within a phishing email too as well. In this page also, which is our configuration area, you see as well it's quite light, and that's on purpose. We don't want to have a highly configurable solution. We want to make things as easy and intuitive as possible. So you have remediation, you have spoofing, which is basically turn on display and spoofing. We have frequently exploited domains, and we have grey mail, which is marketing too as well. So we want to make things a single click of a button. If you want to remove grey mail, it's a single click of a button. If you want to add a banner to frequently exploited domains, again, it's the click of one button. We're trying to make a solution here that is super easy to use, really simplistic, and really beneficial for the IT administrators who we know are time poor. So at that stage too as well, I might jump back to, I'm just going to give you a look at what an inbox might look like when it is protected with PhishTitan. So this is the demo account that I was just speaking about, and I can see here the Outlook add-in is natively inbuilt to your Outlook client. So I can see here I can report an email as phishing or clean, again with a single click of a button. So we really get the benefit of network effects here. The more people that have become part of the PhishTitan customer base, the stronger and better that the product is getting, because you're getting user feedback on a daily basis. We have a human-powered AI detection system too as well, which means that we don't just trust an AI who's ultimately improving the system. It runs through a team of data analysts too as well, who improve the efficacy of the engine. You can also see here what the banners look like within the email inbox. So this is an email that has been marked as safe. So that means that your IT administrator has had a look. It does have a link, but you know what? We've done our checks. That's a safe email. Another example might be one where it actually has a malicious link in it, and you can see that the banner has been applied. So this is what your inbox will look like when you have PhishTitan in place. As you can see, the banners are really visible, and that's really important. You want to create that pause, that moment of reflection when an end user comes upon an email like this, force them to pause, look at the email. If it has a warning banner, you do not want them to click on that link. So that's what your inbox will look like. There are some other emails here too as well. There are some marketing emails with different types of banners. So your grey mail banner will actually be a blue banner. You have your exploited domains, which is an orange banner. So that just gives you a quick overview of what your inbox will look like. As I said, not every email is bannered. We don't banner clean emails because they're normal banners. That's the type of behavior that we want to encourage here. But we do banner anything that's malicious or grey mail or exploited domains. This is what your inbox will look like. Okay, so just going back to the product again, that's a high-level overview of the product. We also have a new licensing area too as well, and this is, I guess, key feedback we've got over the last 6 months is if you are going to build a platform that you don't want to have multiple different licensing areas under your different solutions. So what you can see here is I can see my whole licensing estate here basically. So I can see my 6 customers on the table down below. I can see how many licenses have been issued. I can see the active user count, and I'll pause on the active user count because I think that might be a good time to clarify. I guess we replicate the M365 usage count. So basically, whatever your M365 bill is, that's what we match here. We match active users. We don't count shared inboxes. We do protect shared inboxes, but we don't count them. We don't count aliases either, but we do protect them. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to match the M365 license count as much as possible. Again, as I said, this is now a unified platform view, so it's not just particular to PhishTitan. So if you have any of our other solutions in a single view, you can just click between it and you can see your phishing simulation, let's say, if you have that solution, which I'll come to. It automatically updates the charts and the licensing too as well. So again, just trying to make things as easy as possible. You guys are, time poor. Yeah, you don't want to be wasting a huge amount of time here looking at your licensing and reconciliation at the end of the month. You want to make it as easy as possible, which is what we've tried to do here. So that's PhishTitan. I know that was a pretty quick run through, and look, for you might have some questions there, but I think I might just jump into phishing simulation for a few minutes because I know it's a good segue into, I guess, email security. We know that phishing simulation it's a key element to email security, and this is an additional solution that we have brought up in the last couple of months. Again, replicating the whole PhishTitan UI. It's very, very similar. It's really simplistic. I think that's the key here. Really simplistic, really efficient. To create a campaign probably takes 30 seconds from start to finish. I come in here, I can name my campaign, I can do a campaign duration. We have a really clever feature in that we do a perpetual or continuous campaign, which means every 2 weeks, everyone in your estate gets a lower. So again, making it easy as possible. You just set this up, set and forget. It has auto enrollment. I click next. I select a particular customer that I want to give it to. Pick a demo customer. I click next again. I get a summary of what's going to happen, which is a continuous campaign on the 23rd of September, and it's saying a lower will be sent every 2 weeks. So that's 30 seconds. I click create campaign. As soon as I do that, your people within your organization start to get emails, and these are phishing simulation emails. These are lures based on hundreds of different topics, hundreds of different categories and industries, replicating real life phishing lures. So that happens automatically. So as soon as I click create campaign, all of your users via burst and batch mode, which means no one in your organization gets the same email at the same time. So they are now starting to be protected. So if I click on the phishing simulation campaign here, it will start to generate these lures. The next time I come in here, I will be able to see all of my users, who's actually going to get the email, when they're scheduled, what's the status, if a lure is being clicked or not, and then the number of clicks as well. So you get your response rate to that. So a very, very simple, really, really simplistic solution, but that we know provides a huge amount of value. I can also get a sample of the lures that we've sent, and I can also send test lures, which is basically you want to test the solution out for yourself. I can come in here, I can just send myself a test lure, automatically get sent into your inbox. So you can check and see the type of lures that you're getting, that you're about to send out, by different topics, by different industries. So yeah, that's not a huge amount to say on phishing simulation because, as I said, it's an ultra simplistic solution. So I'm just going to jump back out here for a second. Dashboard. Okay. So just to jump back to the dashboard here, this is the overall view that I started with. This is your unified platform. I've gone through phishing simulation. I also have security awareness training, which is basically providing training content to your customer base. Again, we follow the exact same approach as phishing sim and PhishTitan, make it as easy as possible. With 4 simple actions, I can name a campaign, SAT campaign 1. I can pick a particular topic. I'll pick banking online today. I'll click next. Again, I select my customers. I can give it to all customers too as well if needs be. And then I click complete. And what that happens then is you start to send SAT training content to all of your users over a particular period, whatever period you choose. So again, really simplistic, all unified under a single platform. There's no jumping between UIs, as you can see here, the ease of use here and the way I was able to jump between the different elements of the platform too was really simple, all in a single view too as well. So, Treva, I know that was relatively quick, but I'm happy to pause for some questions there if there's any.
That was brilliant, Conor. Thanks so much. That was really great. I think really good deep dive into the product of PhishTitan and to see the new products in the platform, which is really great to see. Yeah, we'll welcome in questions now. I'll just put on my screen here. Show screen. Perfect. Yeah, so questions. We have loads coming in. I just want to wait for a few more to come in. I just want to do a quick highlight before we get into them. Sorry, just to make sure my screen is showing. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I just want to give a quick kind of shout out to our testimonials that we have from our customers. I just thought it was a really nice one to show everyone out here in the audience. A nice little quote that we have from one of our customers currently using PhishTitan. I'll let you read it. But yeah, nice to see good feedback coming through. And just another shout out before we get into the questions as well is we currently have a PhishTitan pricing offer available up until the end of September. So we will be finishing that out on the 30th. So if you're interested in the PhishTitan offer, please let us know. We'll have a survey at the end where you can just give us a shout. We can answer if you're interested in learning more about the pricing offer, and we can reach out with the details. So questions, Conor. We actually have loads in, which is great to see. The first question that pops up here is, this customer is currently using SpamTitan. What's the difference between SpamTitan and PhishTitan, Conor?
Yeah, that's a really common question, Treva. I suppose there's the whole outside-in approach. You know, SpamTitan is an excellent tool for the outside-in detection. So your generic, you know, spam and maybe very basic malicious emails coming in. PhishTitan is a far more advanced product, and it's also scanning inbound email too as well. So you know, you have SpamTitan protection, your outside in. PhishTitan is protecting your inside your tenant, and by being inside, we can do so much more. And we can also do, you know, post-delivery remediation, auto manual remediation. We can start to alter the emails too as well with the banners, as I said. So you know, we have a huge amount of customers who are using SpamTitan and PhishTitan in unison. Ultimately, you know, that needs to happen in a single platform too as well, which is our vision. But I guess the simple answer is, SpamTitan is your outside in, stops your spam, your malware, your kind of very basic malicious, whereas PhishTitan is stopping those, you know, really dangerous emails that can be business killers, you know, and that's where it lives right now. Over time, I think it'll have additional functionality too as well that will make it a really strong API plus inline solution. But for now, the two products work very well in unison.
Brilliant. So you kind of give it getting that multi-layered approach to them phishing emails. And right. Another question here, Conor. We currently use SpamTitan, as you know, the admin has to review the emails before they get to the recipient mailbox. Is this tool different and allows the questionable emails to arrive in the inbox and the user will react based on the banner?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So the user can react based on the banner, or the user can react if it doesn't have a banner either too as well, you know. And once that happens, the IT administrator can get notified via Teams. We're also bringing in a PSA Integrations as well. So you know, the user can use the Outlook add-in as I showed. That can send a notification to the IT administrator where they can go in and either mark it as clean or, you know, remediate it to a junk folder. or added to an allow or block list too as well going forward. So that's the intention behind the behavior, Treva.
Brilliant, thanks, Conor. Loads of questions coming in. So I'll just mention, if I don't get to all of them today, we'll reach out to you directly with the answers. Another question here, Conor, if we go with PhishTitan and have E5 security with Microsoft, would we still need SpamTitan? What would you recommend?
Oh, that's a good, great question. Obviously, I would never want anyone to take SpamTitan out. I would still leave it in place, to be honest. Microsoft definitely has weaknesses in different areas, regardless of whether it's E5. You know, I think one of the testimonials that Treva showed there was actually an E5 customer, and that's why we highlight it, because they're an E5 customer, one of the highest levels of protection with Microsoft, and they are still seeing, when they have SpamTitan and PhishTitan in place, they are getting this, I guess, 360 holistic approach to protection. You know, it's all about layers. Microsoft is definitely not perfect. They have a lot of gaps, particularly around you know, spoofing attempts, some social engineering attempts too as well. So, you know, we're really seeing the benefit of having, you know, SpamTitan plus PhishTitan on top of all of the Microsoft levels has a huge amount of benefit.
Totally. And actually, going back to that testimonial I mentioned earlier, it says here that this customer is using E5 and PhishTitan and found that very beneficial. So kind of good one to look at as a user case. Okay, and Conor, how can we have Emilio here? And Emilio's wondering, how can they get set up on the phishing simulation?
Very, very easily. So I didn't touch on it there, but the onboarding into the platform, this unified platform, is probably 4 to 5 minutes. That's all it takes. So we connect to Microsoft 365, and then, Emilio, regardless of what solution you have, it's a flick of a switch. There's no new onboarding. So the 3 solutions that I went through, if you want to send or add those to a particular customer, you don't have to do anything. It is literally the flick of a switch. They don't need to re-onboard. They don't need to accept new permissions. It is a 4 or 5 minute process. So if you're a current PhishTitan customer that's in right now and you want to use PhishTitan or phishing simulation, if you were to just reach out to your AE or support, they can switch it on. You know, in 30 seconds you'll have phishing simulation and you can start to create a campaign.
That's brilliant. It's actually interesting to highlight, kind of one of my key takeaways from your presentation there was the timings it takes to set up everything. Like 30 seconds is such a short time to set this up, and the ease of use and the simplicity of the solutions. That's what really stood out to me throughout your presentation.
Exactly. Yeah, and I know it was a quick presentation, but I think that's the message that we want to get across here, is that it's really, really easy to use this platform. And ultimately, it's going to grow and it'll have multiple solutions and it'll have different functionality. But right now, it is an industry-leading platform, but it's really based on simplicity. You know, we've really tried to listen to MSPs and IT administrators and figure out, you know, how we can simplify this thing as much as possible and really make it easy, because we know that, you know, time is of the essence for IT administrators.
Brilliant. And Conor, just another question here on the platform. Someone's asking here, do they have to re-onboard on the platform to use the other solutions, or how does that work?
No, that's just as I spoke about there. It's a single onboarding. So you onboard a customer once, and let's say you deploy them to PhishTitan. In a month's time, you want to give them the SAT solution. There is no new onboarding. It is just the flick of a switch, and you can create campaigns. So it's a single onboarding for every single customer.
That's brilliant. It's great. Just another one on the pricing and licensing. How is that based, Conor?
Yeah, so I know I touched on it there, Treva. So basically, we match the M365 license count. So we protect aliases and we protect shared inboxes, but we don't count them towards your active usage number. So what we do is we took feedback from MSPs and said, look, just match the M365 number as much as possible, which is what we've tried to do. So for example, in TitanHQ, you know, PhishTitan is probably protecting, you know, close to 600-700 mailboxes, but we know that we're at, you know, we have a smaller active user count than that. So that's exactly the type of behavior we want. We want to match M365 as much as possible to make the billing for MSPs easy.
Brilliant, that's great. The goal is to make lives a little bit easier for our MSPs, isn't it?
Correct.
And in terms of the platform, Conor, it's great to see the platform in action. I know behind the scenes. You've been working a long time. What's the future of the platform? What does that look like?
Yeah, it's a good question, Treva. Look, I think the future is a unified cybersecurity platform. So right now it has email security, API, let's say email security. We want to bring in inline email security too as well, which will be pre-inbox delivery and also post-inbox delivery. So a full 365 email security solution within the platform. It'll have a full SAT product, which is obviously launching in the next week or two, which is we're really, really excited about. And then the process is bringing our other solutions into the platform over the next 12 to 18 months. That's our intention. So it's to consolidate solutions in a single platform and improve them there. Built on really modern technology, really scalable, and technology that you can add to very, very quickly. I think one of the key pieces of feedback we've got from our PhishTitan customers is the speed of improvement over the last 9-10 months has been dramatic, which is that's great feedback to get. So that's our journey with the platform, a single area for MSPs to administer their customers.
Brilliant. It's great. Very exciting times ahead. So Conor.
For sure, Treva. Yeah. Busy but exciting.
Say that again, Conor.
Busy but exciting period ahead.
That's for sure. Conor, can you talk to me about the languages supported within the products?
Yeah, so I assume this question is probably particularly for the SAT element. So right now it's English. In the near term, by Q4 we're going to start beginning multiple languages for our phishing simulation solution and SAT solution too as well. So our training content will be translated. You'll have different subtitles, and your phishing simulation emails will also be. We probably lean into the probably top 6 or 7 most popular languages to begin with, and then roll it out over the different regions. But for go live, it's English to begin with, but we do have multilingual support on the roadmap, near-term roadmap.
Brilliant. Sounds good. Okay, so I think we'll wrap it up there, Conor. I think we've covered a lot of the questions. Any that we didn't answer, we'll contact you directly. And just to highlight again before we finish up, that we have that pricing offer available up until the 30th. So after I end this webinar, a survey will pop up. So if you would like to learn more about the pricing offer, just let us know and we'll reach out to you with the details before that expires. I just want to say, Conor, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I know how busy you are, and you probably hate to see my name coming in the emails when I've asked you to do a webinar, but I really appreciate your time. I think it was really great, and great to see the products come on so well, and great deep dive into them. So appreciate your time on it.
Yeah, not at all, Treva. Look, yeah, great to do these webinars and just highlight the great work of the team that are behind us and what they're doing. And I think, as you said, really exciting times ahead for TitanHQ. And look, for anyone that's on the call as well and wants to reach out directly to speak about the products or the future roadmap, happy to field some questions. If you want to reach out to me directly or via Treva, very, very happy to have a call.
Brilliant. Thanks, Conor. And thank you all for attending. We hope to see you on the next one. Thanks. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Treva.
All right.